It was the coldest winter Ethan had ever known. The streets of New York were covered in a thick blanket of snow, and the city, usually bursting with life, now seemed quieter, more distant. Inside a small, dimly lit apartment, Ethan lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. The once vibrant artist, full of dreams and colors, was now just a pale, motionless figure trapped between the walls of despair. Ethan had been diagnosed with terminal cancer 6 months ago. At first, his father tried everything: medications, therapies, even alternative treatments. But as time passed, so did his strength. His hands, once steady and full of life, now trembled too much to hold a brush. His heart, once filled with passion, now carried only the weight of an inevitable end. His only companion was the old ivy vine that clung to the brick wall outside his window. Every morning, he would wake up and count the leaves. And every day, more leaves disappeared. The wind carried them away, one by one, like the days slipping through his fingers. And then he made a decision. When the last leaf fell, he would stop fighting. He would let go. His neighbor, Mr. Thomas, an old man with tired eyes but a kind heart, had been keeping an eye on him. Mr. Thomas had lived in the building for decades and had seen many tenants come and go. But Ethan was different. He reminded Mr. Thomas of himself when he was young, full of dreams, passion, and a relentless pursuit of beauty. One evening, as the storm howled through the streets, Ethan lay in bed, staring at the last leaf clinging desperately to the vine. The rain poured heavily, and the wind was unforgiving. He knew that by morning the last leaf would be gone, and with it, his last shred of hope. But when he woke up, the leaf was still there. He blinked, confused. It had survived the storm. He watched it the whole day, waiting for it to fall, but it never did. Something about it stirred a strange feeling inside him, flicker of resistance, of defiance. If that tiny leaf could hold on despite the storm, could he? Days passed, and the leaf remained. Ethan, curious and intrigued, found himself getting out of bed, sitting by the window, watching it closely. He started eating again, just small portions at first. Then he picked up a pencil and sketched for the first time in months. Each day, as the leaf stood firm against the wind, Ethan regained a piece of himself. He was no longer waiting for death. He was observing life. After 2 weeks, he decided to go outside and touch the leaf. When he reached the brick wall, he hesitated. The leaf looked strange, almost too perfect. He reached out and gasped that it wasn't a real leaf. It was a painting, a flawless, detailed painting on the wall. Confused, he turned and saw a small note stuck to his door. His hands trembled as he unfolded it. Asterisk, asterisk. Dear Ethan, that leaf was my last masterpiece. I wanted you to hold on just as it did. Live for me. Mr. Thomas, asterisk, asterisk. Tears blurred Ethan's vision. As he ran upstairs to Mr. Thomas's apartment, he knocked, but no one answered. The landlord told him that Mr. Thomas had passed away 2 nights ago, shortly after painting the leaf in the middle of the storm. Ethan sank to the floor, overwhelmed. The old man had spent his last moments giving him hope, creating an illusion strong enough to keep him alive. A fake leaf had saved his life. From that day forward, Ethan vowed to live not just for himself, but for Mr. Thomas. He resumed painting, channeling his pain into art. Years later, he held his first solo exhibition, dedicating it to the man who gave him a second chance. The centerpiece of the exhibition was a painting of an ivy leaf, accompanied by a single sentence. Sometimes hope is just a brushstroke away. Lessons from the story. Hope is powerful. Even the smallest act of kindness can save a life. Mr. Thomas didn't cure Ethan's cancer, but he gave him a reason to fight. The placebo effect isn't just medical, it's psychological. If we believe something can help us, our minds and bodies respond accordingly. Life is full of storms, but we can choose to hold on. Just like the painted leaf, resilience is sometimes an illusion we need to survive. Art has the power to heal. Whether through painting, music, or writing, self-expression can transform pain into something meaningful. If you're facing a storm in your life, remember the last leaf. Hold on. Keep going. Sometimes hope is just around the corner, disguised as a small painted leaf waiting for you to believe in it.